Humans are interesting creatures. Every year on January 1st, we pledge that this coming year we will reinvent ourselves. We love new beginnings, and the start of the new year motivates us to take action. And so we create New Year's resolutions. And even though we love the idea of improvement, the majority of the resolutions fail. In fact, only 8% of the people achieve their resolutions by the end of the year. But there's one powerful thing that will make a huge difference in keeping your resolutions. In this video, I want to talk about the secret to make New Year's resolutions stick, and I will also share with you what I plan to achieve this coming year. A few years ago, on January 1st, I said to myself, this year I will get more exercise. I started running a day, then 2 days, 3 days, and then I stopped. There were excuses why I couldn't run, such as the weather is bad, I don't have time, I have so much work to do, I have to work on something else, and so on. My resolution failed in the first week. And like most people, I didn't have just one resolution. Oh no, that year was supposed to be the whole 180-degree change in all aspects of my life. Financial, physical, spiritual, you name it. And I failed them all. The person I thought I would become at the end of the year was not the person I actually became. I still had a long way to go to be where I wanted to be. And this is true for 92% of the population. And there are many reasons why resolutions fail, but here are 3 reasons why my resolutions failed. I wanted instant gratification. People in general want things now rather than later. If we don't see the results of our efforts in a short period of time, we abandon that goal, saying that it doesn't work. What we don't always know, however, is that not seeing results right away is actually a part of the progress. Progress is not linear, despite this being our expectation. In a previous video, I talked about the valley of disappointment. And this valley is crucial to the process of progress. But sadly, this is where most people give up. This clip from that video does a better job explaining it. We expect progress to move continuously upward. And when we put in the weeks or even the months of hard work without seeing any results, we get disappointed. This is the valley of disappointment, which is nothing but the difference between our expectations and reality. The good news is that once you break through the plateau, you will see significant improvements very fast. The second reason why my resolutions failed is because I focused on too many things to achieve. In general, people focus on too much at once, and this isn't necessarily a bad thing. We want to be in good shape, we want to earn more money, find the love of our life, have a fulfilling career, help others, etc. But we overestimate how much we can achieve in just 1 year. One of my favorite quotes from Bill Gates says, most people overestimate what they can do in 1 year and underestimate what they can do in 10 years. I take from this that it is possible to improve in all areas with a little bit of patience, a little bit of persistence, and the secret I'm about to mention in a few seconds. But here's a hint, and also the third reason why I failed. I treated resolutions as things to do and not as part of who I am. This was probably the single most important realization for me. Change comes from within. The majority of New Year's resolutions are about changing behavior, and this is why keeping them is hard. Instead of focusing on our goals, we need to focus on habit development, and that is going to make all the difference. And here's the big secret, how to keep New Year's resolution. Are you ready? It is the pursuit of automaticity. Simply put, it's working towards having our actions be automated to the state where we don't occupy our minds with low-level details that it requires. It is developing habits we don't think about performing because they just become a natural part of our identity. You see, we spend most of our lives in familiar situations, and we repeat the same behaviors in recurring contexts. Who we are is nothing but an accumulation of our current habits, both the good and the bad ones. They are acquired gradually as we repeatedly respond to recurring situations. So, to initiate a new behavior, we have to form a new habit and naturally form a new identity. Habits ultimately guide behavior, which then influence goals. So, how do we fix it? First and foremost, be patient. Understand that progress is not linear. Once you break through the valley of disappointment, you will see a much better result of your progress as you would with a linear progression. Clearly define your goals. Instead of saying, "This year I'm going to get in shape," what I said, define what you mean by that. Are you planning to lose a certain amount of pounds or kilograms? Run 3 miles? Eat better? The first step to behavior change is understanding what your goal is specifically. When are you going to go to the gym? When will you run 3 miles? I use a method called the X effect. I don't know if that's its real name, but I heard it somewhere and it stuck with me, and that's what I'm using now, and it works great. Every time you work towards a goal, put an X on that date and don't break the chain for more than 2 days. You might not be able to perform your habit every single day, and don't force yourself to, and that's okay. Actually, studies show that missing a day or 2 doesn't have a big negative impact on habit development. But my personal rule is not to miss 2 days in a row. And when you see this nice streak of X's, you feel more motivated to continue with the current activity and you want to carry it on naturally. And lastly, to maximize the X effect, find a cue for your goal. Philippa Lally, a senior research fellow at University College London, conducted a study to show how long it took 96 people to form new eating, drinking, and exercising habits. On average, she found that habits form in about 66 days. Some people develop the habit in just 18 days, while others in a little over 200 days. So there isn't a magic number when it comes to forming a new habit. However, regardless of how long it took, all participants followed the same pattern. At first, it takes intentional actions to change behavior, and after a while, the brain automated the process. In her study, people were told to find a cue for their goal. They pledged to do 50 sit-ups after their morning coffee or go for a run before dinner. That was the cue. When situation A occurs, then perform situation B. Lally says, it is crucial that there is a cue for the behavior. Otherwise, the behavior could be performed in various situations and a habit won't form. When you go to the gym every morning, what is it that motivates you? The desire to fit into your favorite pair of jeans? Or the environmental cues that keep you locked into your morning habit? Studies show that even though goals are important, like fitting into your jeans, they actually have limited influence on strong habits. It is actually the cues, the persistence, that makes a long-lasting difference. If you want to know more about habits and how to make them stick, check out my other videos where I talk about the biggest problems with goals, the 1% rule and the 2-minute rule, and other interesting, useful information. I go in depth of these simple techniques, but the gist is simple. Habit forming doesn't have to be this big and difficult task. In fact, it is the small, tiny 1% continuous adjustments to who we already are that will make a difference. And also, habits shouldn't take too long. It should take no more than 2 minutes to start. Make sure to watch those videos. How did I use the power of habit this past year? I've been working on my habits for 2 years now, and I am proud to say that in 2020, I accomplished all of my resolutions except for a big one in my personal life. I think it was due to the pandemic that pushed my deadlines, but honestly, I could have made it work. I'm still happy overall with my accomplishments, but there's a lot of room for improvement still. So this coming year, this is what I want to try out. I want to try out something new, and I want to make it public so that I'm keeping myself accountable. And I will keep it simpler. I was inspired by Matt Diavella's experiment trying 12 new challenges per year, one challenge per month. That pertains to self-development, pushing my limits, and stepping outside of my comfort zone. At the end of the month, I will tell you what this experiment meant for me. But if you have any suggestions what I should try out, let me know in the comments below. I'm not necessarily looking to develop a new habit in all of these areas, but I do want to test my potential. Another personal resolution that I have is spending at least 1 hour of quality time with my family after dinner. Notice how I gave it a specific time? After dinner? That will be my cue. I know it sounds simple, but I find myself working in the evenings, so this is going to require a change. When it comes to the professional side, my resolution includes building a course on money management and sharing my experience how we purchased a brand new house after only being 2 years in the United States. Not only that, but we also managed to invest money, and we continue to invest in the coming years. Now, a disclaimer, we're not millionaires, we're not rich by some standards. We are just a typical average family who came to the US 2 years ago, and we started everything from scratch, from zero. So how exactly did we accomplish all of that in only 2 years? Well, we did it by structuring our finances in a smart way, living frugally, but still comfortably, and steering clear of debt. Well, now we do have debt for the house, but that's good debt. I will share our techniques, spreadsheets, and all the good stuff. Another resolution that I have pertains to YouTube. I want to publish weekly, and I hope to reach at least 1,000 subscribers by the end of 2021. Hit the subscribe button to help me get there and to see more of my content. I look forward to reading your comments, and let me know what you're planning to do in 2021. Happy New Year, everyone!